Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is the Offbeat Business Show. Thank you for sharing your valuable lunchtime with us. I'm talking to Grant Seabolt today, and we're going to share a little bit more going along this theme all month long, celebrating our veterans, talking about what's going on with veterans in community and veterans in business. And Grant's pulled together a whole group of people that are meeting every single Friday. It's a very successful group you've got over there.
That's correct. We've been meeting since about October of 2009. It's the Dallas Veterans Business Morning Formation, and we are a little bit unique in what we do, in our style, and it's, as we say, it's for people who have sort of a see the hill, take the hill mentality, and lesser inclined individuals just need to find a different group.
You're not messing around.
No, not at all.
These people are talking, these people are doing business, they are networking.
Correct. And well, basically what our group is what I call an affinity-based group. That is that as opposed to just simply showing up and people of no particular background or experience showing up to see how we can exchange business cards and hustle for business, this one is basically all either veterans, former military, or folks who have some deep connection or love for the military that come into our group. And so taking that as sort of a foundation to start and build upon, you have a little bit of presumed level of some trust and confidence, because the armed forces are one of the few institutions in the United States that are still value-based organizations in terms of the way they train people. And so we use that to build upon, and then the natural camaraderie that develops among the service members in the different branches. It builds, again, familiarity, and as the saying goes, you always do business with people that you know and you like. And so you kind of already know about them, and you kind of already like them, but now you like them better and you know them better. And we find that with our particular members, pretty much across the board, they say it's their most productive networking group they participate in.
Oh, and I'm a patriot. I'm not a veteran myself. My daughter's a veteran. I enjoy getting with your group and listening every single time. Every single time, just what you said, the camaraderie and hearing them talk amongst themselves. It's always you can tell that they've got a deep desire to really get to know each other, and they've probably been meeting for quite a while. They've invested into their relationships.
Yeah, we have about 415 people signed up on the meetup site. I guess it's a good thing they don't show up.
Right.
But we usually average anywhere from 20 to 30. Just depends on the day of the week and the weather. And but there's a sort of a common group core of about 10 or so. They're consistent attenders, and then there's some periodic attenders, and there's new people that come. And we have graduates that have gotten so busy in their businesses they have launched out of this group, they just don't really have time to get there in the morning anymore.
Can I ask you now how long you've been doing that? You said, did you say 2009? Why do I have that number in my head?
Correct.
So tell me, has there ever been a lag time from the time you were in the service to the time that you were hitting the bricks with business? I mean, you just kind of went from one thing dove right into business?
Well,
how did that look for you?
Well, that's not quite correct. I mean, I was in the reserves, and so you get an opportunity to have two jobs when you're in the reserves: your real job and then your other real job, which is the reserves. And I was on active duty from '79 to 1984 of the Marines, and then after I got out of active duty, I went to the reserves and stayed in the reserves till 2005 when I retired from reserves.
And it took you how long to get back to start your own business? You start your own endeavors?
Well, when I initially left the Marine Corps in '84, I went to Midland, Michigan to work with Dow Chemical as a corporate attorney with them. 2 winters convinced my Southern California wife and this Alabama boy that we didn't want any more of this.
That's funny. I'm from Wisconsin. I hear you.
And so the only state we could agree on was Texas, so that's where we moved to.
God bless Texas.
And so from '87 forward, I've been in Texas with a number of smaller and mid-sized firms over the years, and pretty much since about '93 on, pretty much been doing as a sole practitioner, mainly in the area of business transactions, securities, corporate law, international business transactions, or outside general counsel.
So my question then, you're from Alabama, you ended up in Michigan, and now you're here in Texas.
Correct.
So how big a part did networking play into it? How did you develop the resources you needed with that kind of background?
Well, typically, because the Marines are a little different than the rest of the services in one respect, which is there's no such thing as a former Marine or an ex-Marine, everybody just Marines. Okay, the only two ex-Marines are Lee Harvey Oswald and Charles Whitman.
Okay.
But anyhow, but having said that, we have what I call a very established, what I call local Marine Corps mafia.
Okay.
And that is of former Marines that are in a group called the Metroplex Marines Association, and about 100 plus or so meet once a month.
So networking was just your core. I mean, you
Yeah,
just
you started there, and then you learn to do networking skills, obviously, and but at the same time, I looked at and said, well, who's the natural base for me to build upon, and those are who have a commonality of interest, and so that's why I decided in 2009 to start this particular group, because it was a commonality of interest, and I felt that was easier to build on than just going out and just starting a networking group with no particular commonality of interest.
Now you've also got a local post here.
What now?
You've also got a local post here.
Opposed? No. Now I'm also a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm like the post commander for
Okay,
the
that's
post
why.
in Lancaster, Texas,
Okay.
and then I'm also the senior vice commander for District 3, which is over all 13 posts here in Dallas and Rockwall County.
So what type of influence do those types of organizations have with veterans communities?
Well, there's quite a bit of influence. I'll just kind of take them in order. The Metroplex Marines basically is a clearinghouse of resources for the active duty components that are here.
Okay.
The recruiters, the 14th Marines, which is artillery, MAG 41, which is aviation unit, in providing support services for them in the community. Also a clearinghouse for like Toys for Tots campaign,
Okay.
Veterans Parade, a few other things, Wounded Warrior Regiment out of Quantico. And then about 15, 16 years or more ago, I set up a group called the trust called the Metroplex Military Charitable Trust. It's a 501c3 organization, and we're basically a clearinghouse. And a lot of times we'll take individual groups that don't really have enough of a long-term purpose in order to be able to start their own 501c3, and we basically adopt their project and then use our organization as a clearinghouse for their funds.
That is fascinating. That was a mouthful. Oh my stars! Are you the busiest man I know?
Maybe a second.
That's incredible. I'm so thrilled that you're doing that. When you talk about supporting the community for your veterans, can you put wings to that? What type of support do they need?
I think the main support they need is just primary one. I think is to be quote understood and appreciated, which I keep telling people this is the decade of the veteran.
Yes.
And please take advantage of it. There's nothing wrong with if there's a veteran's preference, or if all things are equal and someone would like to do business with a veteran, raise your hand, let them know.
Yeah. Good.
Take advantage of it while you can.
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely. Friends, have you been enjoying this conversation with Grant Siebolt? I sure have. And if you haven't, if you're not near a pen where you can write down this information, it's coming at you a little fast because we're covering a lot of material. Friends, I want you to know that you can find the upcoming lineup, all the replays, and sign up for the magazine at offbeatbusiness.com and not miss a single thing and be more prepared. And make sure you share this information with somebody in your circle of influence that needs to know where their resources are and how they need to be looking at their business. A lot of times those relationships, somebody else gives you an idea that helps you see a new direction that you should be taking, right? I mean,
Correct.
all these things, this is all about networking, and this is how we get from point A to point B, so let's do that. And like you said, the decade of the veteran, let's go ahead and celebrate it. Friends, we'll be back in just a few moments, and we're talking more with Grant Siebolt. This is the Offbeat Business Show.
Wunderbar.
We got
Okay.
10 more minutes.
Can I get a, we get 2 more minutes?
10 more minutes?
Do you want
Okay,
to
yeah,
take
that's
a
fine. No,
picture
I was
of
going
you?
to somebody
Yes.
take a picture.
Uh-huh.
No,
That's all.
have I met you at the Metroplex Marine Corps League lunches?
Probably.
Especially since you've moved them to Irving?
Yeah, I didn't go to the one in Irving yet. I was on that day.
I go to those.
Are you with the Irving Hotel out there group, or?
Yeah, no, they said come and
Oh,
be
okay.
part of the group. And
Oh,
said,
okay.
Okay.
I was like,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, just if you would take a picture of
Yes,
Susan
sir.
and I sitting here as we're